to heat up your frozen dinners, grab your TV tray, and settle in for another episode of the Plus Platoon, your podcast for all things Disney Plus, brought to you by Disney Plus fans. Watch along with us every week as we cover all the new, the old, the good, and the bad on Disney Plus. So put down that remote, don't touch that dial, and welcome your fabulous Plus Platoon host.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Plus Platoon. We're a Disney Plus fan podcast that gives honest, spoiler-filled reviews of movies and shows on Disney Plus. We look at new releases, coming attractions, and we'll even go back into the vault to revisit some of the classic Disney that's on the platform. Make sure you're subscribed and you will never miss a moment. I'm going to bring in Kate. Kate, good to see you this evening.
Yeah, good to see you too, brother. I'm excited to talk about Loki.
Makes one of us. Next, we've got Peter.
Hello, everybody. I'm here with glorious purpose to talk about Loki.
And last, but probably not least, is Steve.
Hi, everyone.
Guys,
Steve doesn't make bad jokes.
Maybe that's the problem. No, so, guys, if you have not already, please like, subscribe, share. That way you'll never miss any of the episodes we've got coming up. For this week, yes, we are doing the Loki Season 2 premiere. It essentially jumps in immediately after Season 1 ended, with Loki back at the TVA where nobody knows who he is. And speaking of TVA, that's the one with the people mover. And oh wait, that's the TTA. Sorry. But so no one knows where he is, and then he goes through this weird, ripped apart. One of those, I've seen that effect type thing before. Usually when someone's like possessed by a demon, and it's the demons kind of ripping them to try and get out. Look. And he keeps time skipping, right? That's what they call it?
Yes, because he jumps to somewhere. He's in the same location, but at a different time.
Yes,
like he's in the same spot.
And it keeps jumping back and forth between. Essentially, usually it's like 400 years in the past, or present. Or
right.
Even once he jumped into the future.
Right. Yep.
So and Sylvie's there, kind of, and the whole idea is he's trying to find her because he didn't want her to kill He Who Remains. Spoiler alert, she did kill him. Yes. And now, basically, the timeline branches are completely out of control. But FN wants are. What is her name, by the way? What's her number?
15?
Yes.
15?
Sure. She basically has convinced everyone that no, other timelines are just as valid as the quote sacred timeline. So they have decided by the end of the thing to stop pruning all timelines, which Loki is completely against, because he knows that in every one of those there will be a instance of Kang who will eventually this is all coming back to eventually they're all going to get together and have to fight whatever the Avengers they can get under contract. So that's where this is coming in about 3 or 4 years. So to me, well, we can get into it here in just a little bit, but that was basically the episode. Short Round shows up as Marvel's new Q, kind of ish.
Yeah, he's like a Fix-It, Mr. Fix-It.
Mr. Fix-It, yeah. So was basically the episode. Pete, I'm going to start with you on this one as defender of the Marvel faith. What drew you into this episode?
Um, well, there's a lot of things I liked about this episode. I do like when they get more humorous, which this clearly did. But I think I just really like the TVA, that there's like all this bureaucracy and all this like low technology, and everything is, you got to fill out a form, or you got to do this and everything like that, and just seeing like people just don't know how to react to anything out of the ordinary. So I got a kick out of that. I know they had that in the first season too, but you saw this like people in crisis, but they don't really know what to do because they're used to everything functioning the same. And I do like we didn't get a lot of Loki here being Loki. He's mostly just running around going, "We gotta fix this." But I love Tom Hiddleston in that role, so I'll stick with those two things, and I'll leave some other things for Steve and Kate and maybe Derek.
Thanks. I loved the timeline things. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, so like the time travel, jumping back and forth, always
Wibbly
intrigues
wobbly,
me.
timey wimey.
Yes. So that scene with Obi going back and forth between the present and there, how that was shot, totally love that. I love Obi. I'm really fascinating where they're going to take that. That was a highlight. I also just like how it's shot. Because the feeling and the filming of it is very interesting. So those are the big highlights for me. Again, like Loki, I like how it plays off. I like how there's the two new generals in the war room. I can't remember their names. Dixon, I think, is one of them. Whatever their names are. I have to look it up. But just the playing of them, because sort of that quirkiness sort of reminds me of sort of across like between Twin Peaks, that weird sensation that just draws me in. I'd say that's what were my highlights.
So
And
we're
Derek,
ignoring.
do you have any?
We're ignoring the old man general that didn't really say anything, but who is going to come out and to be critical at some point in the series, because they would not have kept showing him if he wasn't going to be important.
Probably not. No.
I mean, as much as they showed him, he better be important. I liked that they kept similar visual composition between two series, because you guys know when you go to a second season, it can look totally different than the first season. This looked like season 2 of the same series to me, which I liked.
And it was a different showrunner than the first series, so you definitely could have had that. So yeah, I agree. It did feel like a continuation for sure.
Right. And then I liked that they didn't try and do too much this first episode. But yeah, I like that they didn't try to, like, they gave you time to catch up with, okay, getting a feel for, okay, this is the panic that is going on, at least within Loki. So, Kate, what else did you like?
So surprisingly, because I was not a huge fan of the first season of Loki because it was very confusing to me, I really enjoy this show. I just think the casting is brilliant. Tom Hiddleston is so perfect as Loki. Owen Wilson, I don't know if it's his humor, and I know that some people, you either love him or you hate him, and I just love it. And I am going to butcher his name. I am so sorry.
Short round.
Ke-Huy Quan?
Yes, that's the one. Ke-Huy Quan. He just and I feel like this is how he is in every role he plays, is so genuine and is so just like a little bit quirky. And I just like, he showed up and I was like, oh my God, yes. I still haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I've heard so many good things. And I believe he won the Oscar for that movie.
Yes.
He did. Yes.
So, and like, and also him and Indiana Jones, like he's just so good. So the casting, that was one thing that as I watched this episode, I was like, this casting is so good. Like it's in it's just so good. So I love that. I really liked the scene where the Kehu Kwan was like, oh no, I don't know you. Oh wait, this did just happen. I thought that was really smart writing, of like, this is happening in his past, but also in real time. And that's when he's like, wait, I do have that. I just thought that was clever. Maybe that's like super, I don't know. I just found it really clever and it made me chuckle. I got a little confused on certain points, but we'll get to that. I know I have more good things to say, but I'll leave it at that. I really enjoyed it.
Can I add one more thing?
Mhm.
First Marvel show in a while where I didn't go, why didn't they pay for the special effects? Saying that the special effects I thought were genuinely good. Like, I mean, you can say what you want about the Tom Hiddleston warping thing, if you like that or not. I don't know if Derek, sounded like Derek maybe didn't like it, but like I thought that was effective, and there wasn't really any cases of scenes where you looked at the effects and were going, oh, that looks really bad, and there was quite a bit of effects in that first season, or first episode. So I think they maybe decided this one they're going to spend the money on that they didn't spend on She-Hulk or Secret Invasion.
I would agree with all that.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Now, not everything about this episode was perfect. So, Steve, I want to start with you. What for this show is not, and yet what if it is not pruned? In other words, what if they keep doing it is going to really not make this show work?
Based on the first episode, I feel like it was so more focused on Loki instead of Loki and Sylvia. I think that first thing of, if I hadn't done my recap before, I would have totally been lost. I know they did a quick recap for you, but there's so much going on. I'm concerned about where the storyline's going. That's what I'm hoping they get clear of what is going to be sort of where they're supposed to be going. I think there's so many possibilities that it's, yes, I feel like the storyline could quickly fall, and then it's going to be boring and it's going to fall apart.
Okay. For me, I know I said that I liked that they didn't try and do too much in the first episode, but they got to do something other than just letting us know that this time hopping is happening and we don't know what's going to happen. That's all the first episode was letting us know, oh no, Kang is out there somewhere, and the thread is about to fall apart because of this loom that looked like the Nexus in Star Trek Generations. And it was just, I hope it continues to advance the story of the Kang intervention into the universe, because I think if they get too bogged down with Loki and Sylvie and miss the bigger picture, I think that could be an issue for this season. I also, Kate, I gotta disagree. I need a whole lot less Owen Wilson.
Oh God. I love him.
To me, Owen Wilson plays just about the same character in most of his movies.
Well, sure, but it fits this role.
You're not going to like him in Haunted Mansion then.
And it's one of those where he. Did you guys hear my last bit, or was I totally frozen?
No,
Nope.
I think we heard it.
Okay, you heard it. Yeah. So, and he always has the same vocal expression to me, and it's always, and his makeup has not done him his aging any favors. So, and I know they're supposed to make him look older, but I'm not sure they're supposed to make him look that much older. But anyway, I need less Owen Wilson, and I need Sylvie to actually move, the Loki and Sylvie plot to actually move, because if it doesn't, it's just going to get to be a long season. Kate?
Yeah, there were parts where I got a little bit confused. Like, I don't really understand why finding Sylvie is so important. I don't know if I just missed that, which is...
No, it's just the relationship between the two is why.
Okay, yeah, because Loki's in love with himself, which is just the most Loki thing. That's the most Loki of Loki things. So when he was like, we've got to find Sylvie, I was like, but why? But I feel like there should be more substance to that. I was a little bit confused on the whole him zipping in and out of moments. I got a little confused as to, like, is he doing that himself? Like, is he controlling it, or is
no, he is not controlling it?
Okay, and I kind of picked up on that toward the end, but so that got a little wonky. I do actually agree with you, Derek, that Owen Wilson does play the same character in most of his roles. However, I think that this role is kind of perfect for him. Yeah. I agree with you, but I think that the way that I think that's why they cast him in that role. Yeah, you definitely had to watch season 1 to understand season 2.
But to me, that
actually I'm okay with.
Right. I was going to say,
yeah,
that should be okay. I understand why people don't want to have to watch 30 movies, but if the requirement of watching season 2 is that you've watched season 1, there's a lot of shows that are like that, right? I mean, that's most shows.
That's fair. What you shouldn't have to do is watch 7 seasons of another show.
Fair
in
enough.
order to understand
all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
No.
Fair enough.
All of Clone Wars and Rebels.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't need all of it. Just 20 or 30 episodes of each. That was all you needed.
So I will say I am hopefully optimistic. I'm not going to be too critical yet.
So I think, I'm not sure everybody caught this, but I think at the end of that, they resolved his time warping thing, right? That was
at least into that timeline.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we're assuming it's fixed.
We're assuming it's fixed. Right. We're assuming it's fixed. So I think they resolved that issue by the end of the episode. My biggest thing, I guess, is, I mean, I enjoyed the episode, but I like Loki best when he's being a bit arrogant. I mean, he's a god and everything like that. So that's the moments of that character I want to see more of that, where he's more comfortable and in charge versus him just running around going, "Where's Mobius? Where's Mobius? Where's Mobius?" So, there was a lot of Loki in this, but I didn't find much interesting to his character in the episode.
There was a lot of Tom Hiddleston in this. There wasn't a ton of Loki.
Right.
This was the first one where he wasn't. He could have been just about any character. He wouldn't have had to have been Loki in this one. He could have been any character getting pulled back and forth through time.
Right. And one of the interesting things about the first season, at least I think, is like it was the first thing that ever really humbled Loki, being there at the TVA and everything like that. And so it did make for some interesting character development in that, but that it still didn't make him like a weak panicking guy. He still had that level of arrogance. So I want to see more of Loki being Loki than what we got in this episode.
Okay. Well, okay. After the first episode, we always ask, what do you want from this season? What is going to make this season work the best for you? Kate, I'm going to let you start on this one. What do you want for this season?
Yeah. So here's what I actually would love for this show. I hope that this show gives us some Easter eggs into what is going to happen with Kang. I hope that it's going to give us some, because this show has been pretty pivotal in launching the new big bag, the new Thanos.
Right.
So I hope that this, and I don't know if this is exactly what you're asking, but I hope that this gives us Easter eggs that, like, once we kind of get further into this phase, we go back and go, oh my God, they totally told us this here, but we didn't see it.
Like the scene of a whole bunch of them coming down out of the sky in the murals.
Yeah.
That will show up later type thing. Yeah.
Like I want those. I want those things where it's like, oh my God, they told us this the whole time and we didn't catch it. I would love to see more of the gentleman that I can't remember how to pronounce, Ke-Huy Quan. I would love to see more of him. I think that he's fabulous. Other than that, I hope they don't get too wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Just because confused Kate gets confused. But I am optimistic for this show. What about you, Pete?
Yeah, I guess here's the thing. After watching Quantumania, the third Ant-Man movie, which is the only other thing that had Kang in it, I don't really like Kang. So I'm not sure how much time I want to spend on that character here. I mean, I do hope I hope they can pull that back to where I find him a character that I want to see in more movies, because when I watched the first season of Loki and he was just in the one pretty much one episode as He Who Remains, that was kind of interesting. Then watching Quantumania and the version that was in Quantumania, I found that obnoxious. And at the end of Quantumania, spoilers, they had like a whole bunch of Kangs in one scene, and that was even more obnoxious. So I don't know what I'm hoping for, but making me feel better about Kang being the big bad guy and that I actually want to see more of him, as opposed to at the moment where I don't want to see more of him. So, but yeah, and I obviously I don't know what, other than that, I don't know what to expect from this season. I mean, this show is probably going to be pretty quirky, so I'm just along for the ride. What about you, Steve?
Like Kate, I want to see more of Obi. Love that character. Actually, opposite Kate though, I'm hoping for some more timey-wimey things, because I think it'd be interesting of where they can take it, and I'm really hoping there's some big twist coming. I don't know what it would be, but some sort of that shocking moment of take us somewhere and give us a big twist, and definitely more Loki and Sylvie playing off of each other. I think getting them in some of the same scenes playing off of each other is going to be quite good. And again, I think just expanding some of the characters, and I'd say less Owen Wilson. I mean, I like him. He's there for a reason, but he gets tiring.
Yeah, for me, I want to know, the only thing I really want to know is when Sylvie said the last line of the show in that mid-credit scene, I want to try it all. Exactly what is that going to entail?
Well, fillet of fish,
no,
Big Mac,
we have
fries.
We have seen a scene where she works at a McDonald's. So,
yes.
I also
sometimes go into McDonald's and want to try it all, but I've never done it.
Oh, no, you really don't want to try it all. Especially not if the McRib is on.
Oh, you're right.
They need to set up some kind of a bad guy other than just them fighting time. There needs to be a bad guy in this season. I think it's going to be the general, the people in the war council or whatever it was called, because we don't know what all those troops being sent into a different time loop were actually doing.
Right.
I would bet it's not to go help Loki and find Sylvie. I would bet just about any amount of money it was not, because that would be too easy, especially for Marvel. I need there to be a point to having this season in the bigger picture. There was no point to Secret Invasion. There wasn't. Other than to get Samuel L. Jackson some money, there was no point to Secret Invasion. He would be the perfect one to show up at a McDonald's, but I'm just saying. Oh, come on, Kate. Nothing on that one. Nothing. No Royale with cheeses. Nothing.
That was Burger King.
I just realized I was laughing. You just couldn't hear me because I was muted.
Sure. It's the same story I get from my wife. It doesn't work. I don't buy it then either. So.
Amy's a smart woman.
That's my biggest thing is there needs to be a point where this actually drives forward. They've made so much of the Kang character. It needs to drive forward the next big main plot, because we know these characters now. We don't need to be introduced to them more. We know most of their motivations, although I would agree, I need Loki back. I don't need whoever he has turned into. I need Loki back. Because Loki is funny. Loki is arrogant. Whoever this is this variant is not. So, although he in theory pruned that variant away. So, who knows?
Yeah.
But to me, that's the big thing is there needs to be a point to me watching the next 5 episodes. So, okay. That's what we got for this week. We will keep watching this. Kate, what do we got for Disney Plus news this week?
Disney Plus news. A newly restored Snow White is coming to Disney Plus on October 16th. This is similar to the other restorations to 4K quality that the company has done lately.
Yeah.
I am very mixed about these because some of them look good, some of them don't.
I'll be honest, half the time I can't even tell the difference. So
yeah, I said it's good enough for me now.
Right. According to filings with the U.S. Patent Office, several Marvel shows have new release windows. Agatha, Coven of Chaos will premiere September 29th of 2024. Daredevil, Born Again, will debut January 2025. And Ironheart will come in early September 2025. Y'all, if they make Daredevil like how they made Daredevil in She-Hulk, I'm going to be so pissed.
Oh,
So Derek, it sounds like you can get your wish of a lot less Marvel going forward.
Yes, it does. Because let's face it, the last chunk of Marvel was not good.
No, the last 2 series were both bad, 100%.
Yep. Yes. Okay, next up, the upcoming Percy Jackson series released its trailer this week. The series, which is not tied to the movies in any way, is going to debut December 20th.
Yeah, so they're basically, this is a complete reboot of going back to the novels. I know, having had kids that have read all the novels and then seen the movies, they were so mad.
Oh, no.
Because the movies were not anything like the books.
Oh, really? Okay.
No.
Yeah. Interesting.
This is supposed to be much, much closer to the novels.
Got it. And finally, my friends, after being dropped by Disney, the Spiderwick Chronicles have been picked up by Roku. So there you go.
So it's to me, it's interesting. And I think, Pete, you were the one that said it in our chat earlier that this wasn't really a Disney property. It was more of a Fox property that Disney had picked up. And then now going over to Roku is...
Yeah, it was actually it was Fox, and I think Paramount was there was like co-production. Okay. And yeah, and then so like whose money was spent is just my curiosity on it. and who's not getting their money back, because I am sure Roku is not paying Disney or whoever how much it cost.
Oh no. So, okay. Next week, as we did earlier in this summer, Disney released a whole bunch of restored classic Disney cartoons. We are going to watch the third and fourth installments of those cartoons. I will be posting those later this week on our Facebook page, so y'all can know which ones they are. Feature a couple Oswalds, some Mickey and Minnies, and 3 Donald Duck cartoons. So we're going back to the old school. None of them are. The newest one is 1956, but most of them are from the 30s and 40s. So these are some of the older, original, would have been shown in movie theater Disney cartoons.
These are always fun. I wish they would do. I wish they would do this every year. That they would say, "Hey, we're gonna bring back and restore 20 classic shorts every year," or something like that. Because the first round of them, there was a few that I remembered, but most of them were very new to me. And the same thing on this set is looking through them. There's maybe, I think old McDonald Duck. I think I remember
all 3 Donalds. I remember the Pluto ones, Bone Trouble. I remember that one. Okay. And because it's the one it's him and this great big bulldog with the bones. And then Pluto Jr. has a baby Pluto.
That one I don't remember. Right. So. But anyways, I'm glad to see that there's hundreds of these out there, right? Bring them back every year. Let's get some more ones. You know, you can take out the racist ones. That's fine if you don't want to restore those. But you know, these ones here, let's keep bringing them back and see these classics brought back to life for sure.
Okay. I personally would love to see some Alice's, at least a couple of the Alice's redone.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Because those are actually how Disney got his start.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, if you have suggestions on what we should watch, please email us at plusplatoon@gmail.com. Do you need a couple suggestions coming up? We've also got our second edition of the Toonies coming up, where we're going to have our awards for what we've watched so far this year.
The Toonies.
We do have new episodes coming out every Thursday on YouTube and all the major podcasting services. For Kate, Pete, and Steve, and our producer Gina, we will see everyone next week. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Hey.
Howdy. Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Plus Platoon. Be sure to subscribe to the Plus Platoon podcast to keep getting great content each week. Then head over to Apple Podcast and leave those 5-star reviews, as they help make the Plus Platoon visible to even more Disney Plus fans. Also, go to YouTube and like and subscribe to the Plus Platoon channel, where you can watch all future episodes live. If you have a question for the Plus Platoon, please send us an email to plusplatoon@gmail.com or connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram @plusplatoon.
The Plus Platoon is a Disney Plus fan podcast and is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company or the Disney Plus streaming service. All opinions expressed on the show are solely those of the individual hosts and in no way reflect the views of the Walt Disney Company.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for next week's episode, because the Plus Platoon is to be continued.